Hey everybody, this is Von Ben. I'm here with a review of the most vaunted accessory for the Switch 2, which is the Dbrand case for it. You have it here on the controllers that are detachable. You get a nice little grip, makes it a substantially bigger device, gives it a better ergonomic feel, and it just has a nice matte finish around the back that extends out to every piece of the Switch 2 and gives it an added layer of protection. Now it's vaunted because some reviewers claim that when you hold it from the one Joy-Con, which I'm trying to do a little off camera, and give it a little scoot, the Joy-Con comes off. As you can see, it doesn't really happen for me as much, and I'm holding it by that controller at the top there. Which could be a problem, you know, if you're holding it one-handed and you're trying to take it from one spot to another. Might give you a little issues there. For me, that hasn't really happened in handheld mode. But I think the bigger issue with this accessory is more so when you take these controllers out and you're having them in your hands, they don't really work with any other accessory. A la the controller grip that kind of comes with it. How do you put these guys in here? So I think in today's video, I'm going to try to take apart this guy and make it work for this vaunted controller accessory for the Nintendo Switch 2. So what we're going to need to mod this controller grip is a utility knife, preferably something that's safe for you to use, but sharp enough to get out little rubber grommets. This one's a little dirty. I use this one for my unboxings, so I apologize for that. And then you'll need some kind of screwdriver set. I recommend an iFixit kit. You won't need all of these, but probably this guy. And I think you'll need a Phillips head 2 or 00, something like that, get you started on this. I'll kind of mention this before we get started. If you do this to the controller, it might void your warranty, so do this at your discretion. What you're going to want to do is pop these guys up with the knife. Might be harder than it looks. Nope, they just pop right off. Sorry, doing this behind the camera is a little hard. But you're going to pop all 4 of these guys off. You could also use a pair of tweezers, I'm pretty sure, for it. They are just little rubber grommets. And underneath, you're going to see that there's 4 Phillips head screws. This is going to allow us to take off this back part that says Nintendo via the crease that's right here in the controller. And for those screws, you'll probably need this PHO Phillips head screwdriver. I think it's just like standard size. And then you kind of get into here, turn counterclockwise. You're going to get these screws out of here. They're about that big. Oop. Yep. Got her out. About that big. I would just keep them if you intend to put these back on. Once you're done with that, the next part will be getting something in between here. I recommend a sponger to get in between the crevices here. Might have to try to open it up a little bit before you get into there. It's not usually the best. There we go. There should be some locking mechanisms. Yep. Right here on the back top, there is a tab that locks it in, and I think there's one on each side of the device. It should pop off just like that, Then you'll need to unscrew these four with, I believe it should just be that same bit I showed you earlier. These ones are also, I think they got a little cap on them or a little washer to keep them in there. I guess you'll have to take out these two as well. We'll see how that goes when we take it apart. I think these hold together the device, so we might be screwing them back in here just to see if they'll fit back in and if it keeps the structural integrity of the device sound or not. Because we're not in the business of trying to, oh, I'm decimating that screw. Oh no. I was going to say, we're not in the business of getting rid of this accessory and destroying it. We just kind of wanted to modify it for scientific reasons, we'll say. If you start stripping a screw, just go down a size screwdriver. I think I might have went a little too small with this next one, but we'll take a look here. Yep, definitely did. Make sure it's not too stripped. And then we will advance the rest of it here. That's why I recommend a little screwdriver kit with it. You will probably need each of these to get through it. I think I can get this one with this. I don't know why it's being such a pain. It's really on there, so this one might not go back in. So we'll just have to unscrew it and see what happens. All right, that one's going to be stripped. Do not strip the screws, but they usually should come out with that initial bit that I showed you off of that iFixit kit. They might have a different name on your kit. And then I think we'll have to unscrew these two screws as well, which is two right here. Then you're kind of left with something that looks like this on the back. And hopefully you didn't get any of your screws on your magnet. Oh no. We'll be able to get those out with a pair of tweezers, so not that big of a deal. Just keep a pair of tweezers on you. But yeah, so we'll try this mod out in a little bit. Give me some time to clean up here, and we'll see how it looks. So without further ado, let's test to see if we get a solid connection. That's looking right. And yeah, this is working. Let me give it a little shake test with the sides. Yeah, that was what people were complaining about. Apparently the gap here is just too much. I might have got a good unit for it, but yeah, it kind of just turns your controller into this. So now you could use them, you know, off of the dock. Without having to buy some kind of third-party little stick like this. And usually, it keeps these pretty sound. I mean, your fingers are kind of away from them. You might lean into them. If you have smaller kids, I maybe wouldn't recommend the mod because, you know, you got these two things jutting out, and if you leave your hands there too long, you might tap into it. But it is kind of smooth with the edge of the controller. You could probably shave these down or get a pair of pliers and take them out the rest of the way, but I think these are part of the structural integrity of this part of the grip. So I wouldn't try that too much. But yeah, you kind of get a new lease on life for this grip, and it feels like you're holding the controller almost in dock mode with a little bit of extra grip on the back because of the grips here. And I think that makes this a little bit better of a controller and a better use of this accessory because pretty strong. It's pretty strong on there, you know. It almost feels like how it would feel if these had no grip on it at all. But yeah, just a little mod I wanted to try for the Dbrand grip here. But I also just kind of wanted to go over the fact that I don't think the Dbrand grip is that much of a controversial thing. I think it works fairly well and attaches to the controller almost like it's attached to this thing. Pretty grippy, and doesn't really fall off. I mean, these things are on here tight. And that's what I've experienced with my Dbrand grip. But if you've experienced something different, give me a comment down below of, if you've been playing around with your Switch like this, which I don't think I've ever had to hold my Switch like this or carry it like this. I usually just carry it both hands on the controller and put it into a case. But that's the biggest complaint with the Dbrand grip. That and that it doesn't dock without the dock accessory, which in hindsight, I'm going to say is fine because I have a Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck also just keeps the screen outside of the dock. And I think that would be my biggest complaint with it for the dock side of things, is that it keeps your Switch outside the dock, and the screen is susceptible to anything coming at it. But in the same vein, if you put your Switch 2 in between the plastic backing and the plastic front, guess what's going to hit off of it? That plastic front. So, yeah, just a nice little mod I wanted to try out with the Switch 2 controller. Probably not going to get that grip back on because I kind of stripped that screw. So, yeah, let me know what you think about the mod down below, and any likes, comments, or any way to make it better. Maybe put a little lip mount there to make it stand on its own, so you have a nice display piece. But yeah, give me your thoughts below, and like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.